Hey everybody, welcome to That's All Funny. With me today is filmmaker, comic book creator, founder of Forrest Publishing, writer, I believe the current project we were about to talk about, Blood and the Sword, which you just saw the trailer for, Richard Embree. Hey, how you
Hey,
doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me on.
No, yeah, thanks for making time to come on, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I was able to talk to you, through Messenger and all that about you coming on. I appreciate your time.
Of course,
Um,
of course.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I wanted to talk to you. I know more like about your current project, Blood and the Sword. I feel like I've gained enough weight to talk about comics now because I
Yeah. Yeah,
with
it's weird. You either gotta be really big or like real skinny. You know what I mean? And like, there's no in between. If you're like in shape and you're like have a good metabolism, they're like, you're fake. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah,
I
it's
kind
almost
of
like
like
with
on the
wrestling.
chubbiness, so I'm on the chubby side. So, I think if you're chubby, you can write comics, but to critique comics, you gotta I need to either gain or lose more weight, so yeah.
No, there's a certain criteria, I'm sure, to do it. I guess no, we're just kidding here. Now I want to talk about Blood and the Sword. I want to tell you what my favorite part was. Do you want me to tell you what my favorite part
Oh,
is?
please, please. I
Uh,
like hearing it. I like. Well, first of all, I like people reading it because that was my whole goal is to get people to read it. Hence the like $5 price tag. I was like,
mhm.
let's take money out of the conversation. How can I get people to read it? And if money isn't in the conversation, but I can still make money off it and you know uh collect money to put out the next project, I'm all for it. So that's where what we're doing now. So now when your main purpose is that, the priority is that. So when people come back and like they want to talk about it, they want to talk about the best or their favorite part. That's where I'm all ears because that's where that's where we grow as writers. We want to
No,
know that
yeah,
stuff.
and
We
that's the
want to see
interesting
if it
part.
connected. Yeah.
That's the
So
interesting part
please,
you bring
please.
up about is price, and we can talk about that because I didn't even consider that especially in this economy now, price is even more important. But some people just don't even care. But as far as my we can talk about that a while. As far as my favorite part, well, let me look that up. I didn't actually read the comic. No, I actually read it. You sent me that bit. I did read it.
Yeah.
Uh, no, there's a lot going on in these few pages. That you did send me, like the characters, Valen and I believe Amara. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah,
the female character's name is Mara.
Amara.
Mara.
Amara.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how they have like this history. Obviously, they meet up. Like that part where she stops at that sword right there, and it's
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, like she's like his match, but then they're equals, and there it seems already like there's this whole will they won't they type
Hmm.
relationship to them, as well as you have Mongo or Mango. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna
gotta
say
say
mango.
Mongo. Yeah, Mango.
Yeah, Mango
Uh-huh.
has a history with my daughter creating that character, but I'll get into that after. I'm curious about the favorite part, so that's why.
No, yeah, and I say mango because I worked in produce for a long time, and
Okay.
everybody says mango, mongo. There's a lot of different ways to say fruits, but that's why I was reminiscent of the fruit. But you could tell he's playing the straight man here, and I don't mean like gay or straight or whatever.
Yeah,
I
the
mean
dry
like,
humor, the
yeah,
the
he's a
dry
dry humor.
noble. Yeah, you know.
He's
I've
playing
always
that
liked those
part.
gentle giants that yeah, you're like, are they serious or like I didn't like, and they're just real dry humor, but since their statue is so big and it's just people don't really know, so I always think that's humorous where you just have these big guys, like if you hear about stories like Andre the Giant, he had a sense of humor and it's just so towering and just could stand over people and intimidating, but in the inside he's really caring, compassionate, and does have a sense of humor, and so
Well,
yeah,
you
so I
said
kind of wanted Mango to have that trait.
and like you said, you don't know if he's joking or not joking when he says something. He'll say something, and
You
then
have to know him. Yeah, you have to
yeah,
know him to
yeah, you're
understand
like,
it, where
"He's joking,
Valen
right?"
does.
Yeah, "He's joking, right? You're joking,
Yeah.
right?" And he just
Mhm.
walks away. Uh, but yeah, you have him playing the straight man, he's no selling things, but he has that backstory too of the unpaid debt, so that it makes you want to read more, know more what's going on. And then you could tell um Valen is the guy who, he it seems like he wins every battle because he's got that kind of joking remark in every
Mhm.
fight, which anyone else would, it's a life or death situation, but he still has time to crack humor. But then it makes me feel like eventually he's gonna find that enemy that
Yeah,
shuts him up. You know what I mean? That, like, oh, and that's when there's a real threat going on.
yeah. You gotta make your
And
your baddies bad. So you gotta a lot of things I take from, like, pro wrestling. So you got your pro wrestler, your superstar, and against a jobber, he's alright. You get that jobber or enhancement talent, I mean, I haven't taken a bump, so we'll go enhancement talent. We'll say enhancement talent. You got your enhancement talent and a manager, and that superstar will win that guy, but since the manager's cheating and distracting the referee, it kinda makes it almost even, you know? So that's kinda where uh, I want Valen to be. And Valen, I there's people in life that I met that were cocky, arrogant, but damn, they could always pull it off. They always win. And like if you want to talk about sports, like John Jones always wins. Mayweather's cocky as he is, always wins. He people pay to see Mayweather get mopped, and he always
yeah.
collects the money and he always wins. And that's just, to me, that's like fascinating. So that's kind of like the inspiration for Valen. It's like though there's guys out there that they're cocky, they're humble with certain people, but when you're not humble with them, they're like, okay, well, I can be arrogant too, I can be an asshole too, but I can back it up too. And that's where the Valen is. And their friendship is kind of what keeps them going. And you're right, the debt thing is breadcrumbs. You have to have set up for payoff in the debt and this and that. So what I like to do is create breadcrumbs, create trails, and then have an emotional payoff. So when you actually find out what the debt is about, you're like, oh, that's not what I was thinking it was about. It's according to these characters, I'm thinking it's this, and it's really something else. And that's
Mhm.
where I find the payoff, the surprise, enjoyable, and that's where I think readers do, because I like when writers do that to me. I'm like, oh damn, that was good. Like you had me on this journey, and then you made the payoff pay off. So
Mhm. Yeah, and like you just said about the character, it does remind me of like a Ric Flair, like where
Conor
he's
McGregor, when he
he's just
was
a
winning,
he's a lovable, he's like the
yeah.
heel, but he's such a good heel at being it. You wanna, see him fight and
Hmm.
almost lose, but then win, and no matter what, however he but wants to do it. And then as far
Hmm.
as the character to Amara, I see that she's the female, but she's strong, a strong female,
Hmm.
and you could tell she has a heart too, because she's not just letting the soldiers, from what I read, go into battle without a strategy, without,
Hmm.
every man's life matters, or every life
Yeah,
matters, not just man.
yeah.
But you could tell she has a heart. She's more of a strategist, and
Strategist. Yeah.
yeah. And so there's a lot going on with these pages that you gave me. There's a lot to read, and I did like that part. Probably my favorite part is when they first meet in these pages, Valen and Mara, when they clash
Hmm.
with the swords,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, oh, it's you, oh, it's you, and then they like calm down, and then now suddenly they're part of the pain, that they're part of their mercenary group or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay,
The assignment, the task.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So I wanted to give it a like Amara comes from that mercenary thing, but it wasn't like they're both looking for things. Everyone's looking for something that satisfies them, right? And Mango is looking for honor, just doing the job, the duty of the job. Valen, he's looking for coin. Hey, I'm a open gun, open sword. If the money's there, the coin is there. I'm there. Depending on what the task is. If it's something somewhat honorable, he'll get it done his way.
Yeah.
And Mara, she's more like she wants more status. She wants to work for the kingdom, to have a title, to I throw that line in there where she's kind of trying to justify working for the king, and Valance like doesn't understand it. Where he's like, "Hey, what do you know?" And she's like, "We all work, we all have our masters,
Mhm.
and you're doing this." And she kind of comes back with like, after I finish my assignment, I get to drink mead, have a place to stay. You just get paid and on with it, So that's where that was the first hint in her developing, like, that's her motives. She wants to have status. She wants to have comfortability. She doesn't want to be on the road. Where Valance like, yo, I follow the coin. Wherever it is, it is. And
Mhm.
so,
No, and yeah, it just in these few pages, and again, I'm not. I've just started, trying to read comics as a kid. I was never really into them.
hmm
They always seemed so adult to me when I was a kid, and,
hmm
and it's funny because now things that are considered quote unquote for kids are like made for adults now to enjoy, like video
yeah,
games, wrestling,
yeah, it grew
comic.
up. The fan base grew up, and so the business had to follow.
Yeah,
Well,
and
sometimes it follows.
and we
Sometimes.
and what you were saying about the price, like, so you never thought of like you got your $5 amount set in stone. You ever think of like, oh, maybe if I add more content here, I'll like DLC almost. If I add
Well,
more, I'll
like
bring the price up. Or
this is what I wanted to do. Like I'm gonna bring it out, and every issue is gonna be 20 pages. So that's where uh because 20 pages is, I could afford to do the art, right? So what I figured out is, if I'm not having multiple covers, I just have one cover. I bring it out and I print it a larger amount. Then I have product for years to come, right? I'm not having to do another print. I get a real good deal on it, for the print costs, and the art costs and all that. And then the
Mhm,
art's already paid for. So my strategy is like to not have money be the issue. So it's like, what if money isn't the issue? Would you read my comic? Does my comic interest you? And that's where it's $5, for 20 pages. Other people might sell it for 10 or this and that. And I don't know, maybe that's or they have more pages, they sell it for 25, 35, whatever, But I'm thinking, okay, how can I compete? I can compete because I'm really a grassroots guy. I'm really like not that known, right? So how
mhm,
can I compete? I can compete with price, because with price, if I have enough or print large enough, then I still make money on it, and it's not that big of an investment, right? Because imagine like I know July's a hot topic, and I'm trying to really not even talk about him as much, but the reason I didn't back it is because, the only reason I'm talking about it, because it kind of pertains to what I'm talking about. The reason I
mhm,
didn't back the first ISOM was it was $35, and people might say brokey, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, whoop, whoop, whoop. Plus, but I'm like, hey, if it really comes down to it, I'd rather get Lepresti, I'd rather get Graham Nolan, that I know are gonna do quality work, and either it's gonna hit or it's not. But I know quality is gonna come to me, and it's really kind of up to my preference whether it's like, I felt like Ripa, and that was kind of like too new, right?
yeah,
So with that, like, as I'm a customer, I'm thinking like, okay, that's probably what the customer thinks too. So how can I combat that? You know, where everyone's selling comics for 25, I can sell mine for 5, you know. I can do a digital, not have to worry about overseas, and just keep it going, and I really came to the conclusion that, what is my primary goal? My primary goal is to get readers, right? So to get readers, if I take money out of the way, I'm just trying to get readers. I'm just trying to get readers. So when I see backers, and I'm like, I think I'm like up to 80, 87, right? I'm like,
mhm,
okay, cool. Because my last campaign did 82. At 82, I almost hit 3 grand. At this one, I'm at like, I don't think I think I'm at like 1.3, 1.360, So of course with the other campaign I made more money, But with this campaign, I'm just worried about, oh, not even worried about, I'm just focusing on the backers. And here's the thing too, with the backers online, that 87 is just online. I can literally, when I get this printed, just put a box in my trunk, stand outside a liquor store, stand outside a gas station, and hey, man, you like this? You like this? Hey, it's $5, $5. Support an independent comic, and like it's almost like Too Short and Master P, that independent hustle. Like
Mhm.
how can I do that? I can do that. I can go to different cities and do that. I can go to Las Vegas, just kind of be off the strip, and do that. I can go to Arizona and do that. I can go to LA. I can go to like Orange County, the Anaheim area where they have like WonderCon and stuff like that. And they have a lot of comic book shops. I can do in stores and actually leave product on the shelf where it doesn't even really affect me because not every issue is going to hurt me, but I can leave it. Uh, the store can make some money and then I get more readers like that. I can host an
Mhm.
event, so it's like, that's the avenue I went, and then another avenue too is I invested in shirt printing machines and equipment. So now I can print my shirt. Everything's in house, and it's on it. The profit split off a shirt, from manufacturing to what I could sell it at is man, it's lovely, bro. It's lovely. That's why I could sell a shirt for 25 and include the comic in it. So that shirt and comic combo on the website, I'm making good money off it, to be honest. But people are actually saving money by
Yeah, it's
by comparing to,
a
yeah. So
double
it's
win.
it's a win-win. And
Uh-huh.
here's the thing too: you buy the digital for 5. Hey, you know what? I like that. I like the mango character. I want the shirt. you know. Then you come back and it's not like you're getting hit for like a lot of money, like as if you paid 25 and now you're paying another 25. You're already in 50, or whatever, But it's
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm only in 30 and I got a shirt and I got 2 comics. Yeah, that's lovely, So that's kind of
And then
where I want the return customer.
yeah, and then it's getting the word of mouth, it's
Hmm.
getting your name out there, it's establishing you as a even just a good businessman that you're able to deliver a product, like a high quality product,
Hmm.
uh, for a decent affordable price where, yeah, like you're saying, you may just break even, if that, or maybe make a little bit on the top, but it's more about just establishing yourself first
Hmm.
before going into these like bigger budget campaigns that I don't know, the school of ministry can do, or what whoever's doing it.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, and,
Well, the
I've been
thing,
uh-huh.
well, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I had a discussion with my editor, and we talked about marketing. He was like, "Do it for 10, do it for 10." Like, I'm like, if I did it for 10, I would just offer free shipping. But sometimes that doesn't translate too well because people don't hear the free shipping. But if I do it for 5 and then 5 shipping in the US, like that's a $10, yeah, I mean you're paying for shipping, but the $5 comic is like, oh, okay. And people are already conditioned to pay for that. But
Mhm.
with the conversation we had is uh some creators, they can have boutique items. So the EVSs, the Aaron Leprestis, the Shane Davis, like they have a huge following already. The Jimmy Reyes is freaking killing it. I was talking to him last night. I mean his art is just killing it, man. And but they can create these with their following, they can create uh boutique items where people will buy multiple covers. People will buy this cover, then come back for that cover, or buy it signed or this and that. Like they have the fan base for that is totally feasible, and that strategy totally works for them. And coming to the realization that I am not them, I am not nowhere near them. So what am I gonna do? I'm a little guy. I'm grassroots. How am I going to even compete in the market? So that's where I got creative with strategy, you know?
And you've got to you to be, competitive,
Mhm,
and not saying you have to be competitive. All comic books can live in the same space, but in reality, it is a competition for people's attention, for people's time, for people's money. Like
Mhm.
you want to establish yourself, like you
Yeah.
said, as a writer, as an artist, as a good businessman, that you can
Mhm.
be trusted, and
Definitely, definitely.
not just like cheat the people out or exploit them or guilt them into spending their money. Like, if you don't buy my product, you're not a true fan or something. It's
Yeah,
that's
I
I don't
think,
know.
what worked for me, so I had one successful campaign, and I had one that didn't, or wasn't successful. So the first successful campaign was, like, the first comic book I ever wrote. It was called The Last Goodbye. Now, when that came out, all the artwork was done, so I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna get it recolored, relettered, and put it out." And so people were, like, more likely to back it. I felt they had more confidence in me because the artwork was already done. The guy's just getting it recolored, blah, blah, blah. So it was easier to get people to do that. And I was only trying to raise two grand. And that happened and it was great. I met a lot of great people. Comicsgate came out and supported me and I was just amazed. I was just so grateful, so humbled. You know. Then I
Mhm,
come out with my second project thinking like, hey, I fulfilled on time. To the most part, I did communicate. There was some issues with the guy making my shirts. And it was just like, to be honest, that the guy making my shirts is my friend. He got COVID, and he got COVID. His worker got COVID. His worker passed away, and
mhm,
he went in the hospital. And then his brother had to take over the business, who's also has the construction business. So he had to take over this and get my shirts, and then find a new employee. And like, I think he pressed them up or printed them himself. So there was a lot of stuff that happened, and
yeah,
then he gave it to
that's
me, and it was the
unforeseen.
it was the wrong design. So now I'm like, and then we got that refund check, that the whatever.
Mhm,
And so I was just like, from the government, I'm just like, okay. And I spent that all on the design again. And then I sent two shirts because uh they paid for a shirt and they paid for this design. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have these incorrect designs. What do I do with them? And then I have the real designs. What do I do with them? So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna send them both. I'm gonna send them both. So I mean, I feel like, I did the right thing, man, because people paid for one shirt, ended up getting two shirts. I didn't plan that, but it happened, and they benefited from it. So they got a comic and two shirts for like $30 or $35. So and to tell you, like, the kind of people that are in the comic book, buying, and comic book customers, man, just amazing people. I had people, hey, you accidentally sent me two shirts. Did you know?
uh-huh,
Um, do you uh like, how can we discuss shipping, or do you want me to send it back, or do you want me to pay for it? I'm like, no, no, no. That was part of the business, and so then I after that, so I'm thinking like I think I overestimated my trust, or their trust with me. So then when
mhm,
I came back and I was like, "Hey, I have this Western comic. It's I got this artist, and the team's together. I got a couple pages that I paid out of my pocket, but I'm gonna need like 6 grand to get this off and running, and to cover artwork and this and that." And I had Preston and even a couple other Comicsgate people do covers, alternative covers, and so uh it didn't I that one didn't go as planned. I wasn't pushing as hard, and I think there was a confidence issue. So I was in the process of moving, career change. So that that campaign failed, but I feel that the one of the main reasons it failed is I lost the confidence of the customer, and that confidence came from having the artwork done. So
mhm.
uh that's why when I came with this project, I'm like, I'm having it done, but I'm having it at a lower page count because I can afford that, and I can afford the printing, and I can get it at a cheaper rate for everyone. So that's born that was how Blood in the Sword was marketed. That's what I wanted to do.
No, it sounds like you're obviously putting yourself in the shoes of the reader, and
Mhm.
showing that customer service is first. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, people pay ridiculous. Some people pay ridiculous amounts for ridiculous things, but all in all, like a returning customer will come back as long as they're satisfied. You know,
Yeah.
in any business, in
Well,
I
there's some
can't
people.
imagine something like this. You know.
Well, I would say this: there's some people that don't have competition. You know, and so that sounds kind of weird, but this is the way I view it. Some people, anything EVS brings out, they're gonna buy. Anything Malin buys out or brings out, they're gonna buy automatically. I got my money, and there's like, hey, I haven't had a book in a while. What is out there? And then and then that's where the dollars kind of compete. You know, on the if we're talking like main scale, that's where the other dollars kind of compete. It's like, am I gonna buy Andy Smith? Am I gonna buy Shane Davis? Am I gonna buy Mandy Summers? Am I gonna buy this? Am I gonna buy that? You know what I mean? And there's so much out there. Or am I gonna well, Lucen's really good. Am I gonna buy Bancroft? You know what I mean? And then or like, they come across other streams, and or am I gonna buy Shotgun Samurai? Or you know what I mean? There's all these options, or it's like, I want to get Shotgun Samurai, but I already bought Bancroft, or I already bought Andy Smith. You know what I mean? So the dollars are competing. So I feel like, hey, how can I get out of that shooting range and still develop readership? Because you know those are some amazing books and amazing creators.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that I'm not, but how do I get people to buy in that I am a good creator, a great creator? I have quality books, I have quality products. Like how do I do that? And it's man, it's a lot easier said than done, but I'm gonna get it. I think this is the best strategy for me that I have available for me.
No, yeah, it's real smart. Just to get your yeah, I'm not saying your name isn't out there, but to help it compete with those same likes and establish that name, because you could even have, I saw like the comedian Sam Tripoli. He's a
Hmm.
comedian podcaster, right? He's got his
Hmm.
already his fan base, and then he uh writes a comic and puts it out to his fans like, "Hey, help me fund my comic." And these
Yeah.
might not even be people that are into comics; they're just into Sam Tripoli, and now he's got
Yeah.
his established name and them buying his comic, that from his mind, or with
Hmm.
his name attached to it. So I could see it like trying to just get your name out there to compete with those same,
Yeah.
you know, juggernauts of people that already have well established names, and whether it's good comic book writing, good art, whatever on their half, it's you just having to compete with them because they already have their names,
Yeah. And
out
I
there.
think another strategy is, well, for me was, I got to build my fan base. Like Sam Tripoli has his own fan base. You
Hmm.
know, uh, like Yellowfash is coming out with a comic. And he hired a great artist in Dillard, right? And that's great because Dillard has a fan base, and Yellowfash has a huge fan base. And yeah, they probably have the same fan base, that interacts, but that's gonna be huge. Like people are gonna go out and support Yellow Flash because they like Yellow Flash. He provided so much entertainment for them, and he provided, and they agree with him on a lot of stuff. So, uh, props to him. Like he built his audience for them to come to, right?
Hmm.
So, I'm trying to find a way where I can build my audience, but I don't want to be a YouTuber. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But I still need to get my name out there. So
Hmm.
that's where it's like, okay, so how can I get my name out there without having to build 20,000 subscribers on YouTube? Like, how am I going to do that? And uh, that's where it's like, you know what? $5, bro. Like, people lose $5. People, you can't even buy a
Yeah.
burger for $5, bro.
No.
So it's like, if it interests you, appreciate the value.
Hmm.
So the only bad thing I think is people are like, why is he selling it for $5? It must not be, it must be some kind of he cut some corner, this and that. And I think until they hear me and understand why I cut cut it to $5, then maybe A, they will appreciate it, and B, take a chance on it. And that's what I'm trying to do.
No, it sounds to me like it makes sense, and you're taking note from, any I'm not saying any mistakes you made, but, like, you had the successful
Mhm.
campaign, you had the one that wasn't as successful, and you're learning from both instances, and then you're learning from other people's campaigns that, are succeeding or not
Mhm.
succeeding, so it's just all a learning experience,
Yeah, definitely.
always. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I've noticed lately, like, and I don't know if this is how Twitter has always been, at least in the political space. I know it's very divided, but now even more so with like these smaller communities, like they're not even small. What am I saying? Like
Mhm.
comics, film, even wrestling.
Mhm.
Everything's so divided. Everything's so tribal. Like if you're on that side, you're against us, and if you're on my side, like um, has it always been like I don't know, like, I know you've read comics longer than I have. Has
I
it
think,
always been this divided?
you know, I don't remember it being, divided until, like I think, I don't know if it was divided as much as when Trump kinda came into office. Trump kinda,
He
and
was
that
the
was
catalyst.
yeah, I think, we all became divided when Trump came into office, and it just trickled into other communities, you know what I mean? I remember comics being, uh, kind of for the outcast, you know? And then all of a sudden, it's like pop culture. I remember being at Comic-Con, and, they had the Marvel booth, and the Marvel booth had all these people there. And I'm like, why is the Marvel booth? Who's there? I'm thinking maybe it's like Stan Lee or something. The Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, really? What's he doing here? He's gonna do an Iron Man movie. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. They're gonna do an Iron Man movie. All right, I guess that's cool. I'll go check that out. He's in it, and I'm thinking like, okay, they got like a real actor in a Marvel movie. That's gonna be interesting. I want to see how that comes out. And then I saw Comic Con become this pop culture thing where people are there for the Avengers panel more than comic books, you know, and but there were some true people that came there just for comic books. God bless them. I had a couple tables at Artist Alley and small publishings, and they would walk by and they were there for the indie comics. Who's this? And just chopping it up with people. Just like I said, the comic book community is just uh it's full of just great people. Like I remember people buying my book and, "Do you want a water? Do you want a soda? Do you want anything?" "No, no, no, okay, all right, well, and there's like certain etiquette, like when you're at a booth, like your neighbor will watch your stuff, or you turn your back to tie your shoe. They're looking at your table, and you're looking at your neighbor's table, or like, hey man, uh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. You want a water or anything? No, no, you're good. And I remember coming back from the bathroom, and there was like $10 on the table. He's like, "Yeah, someone wanted your comic. I sold it for you. I just put the money on the table for you." It's like, "Oh, thanks, man." Like, "No, no, no, that's your money." And it's
Like
just
a
like,
small town community
yeah,
almost.
man, and
Yeah.
everyone's looking at everyone, and,
Mhm. Watching each other,
yeah,
supporting each
but,
other.
so it was like, it was strange to see people, I don't know if, like, reject me or just, you know, be so against Comicsgate. I think the Wikipedia had something to do with that when they were looking it up.
Mhm.
Because I remember talking to people like, "Why do you hate Comicsgate?" And they're like, "Oh, because they don't like minorities, they don't like gay people." And I'm like literally in chats, group chats with gay people, bi people, every color of the rainbow, e
Mhm, mhm.
multiple languages, transsexuals, or, trans people. I don't know what the real correct term is, but and everyone was just there, and no one gave a shit about none of that. We were just talking about comics. X-Men, 90s, this image. Oh, have you checked out this independent creator? Okay, this person delivers. I'm worried about this person not delivering. You know what I mean? And that was the conversation, and it was freaking amazing. And then when you would try to explain like, no, dude, that narrative is wrong. Like, I'm actually in there and talking to these people. You get blocked. You get, it's like that there was power in the narrative, so they needed to keep it going because
Mhm.
I'm the good guy. I can't be the good guy. You can't correct me from being the good guy. I need to be the good guy to influence the people around you. And that was that's where I saw it getting weird, Like I there's one store owner. I was like, "Hey man, can I do a launch party at your store?" "Yeah, come down. That'd be great." I didn't end up making it, and then 2 weeks later, he's threatening to shoot EVS's face off. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy shit, what the And what's crazy is I talked to this guy, and in private message, he's like, yeah, with Dan Fraga, he's cool, I know he's a good dude, even though he's CG. And hey, you know what? If someone came into the store and asked for Cyberfrog, all things aside, I would get it for him, man. I'll take care of him. I'll find a way, either on eBay or see if we had anything in stock. But yeah, I would sell it. I would take care of him. But on the internet, this dude was like, "I'll fucking hit you with a Lipton iced tea, blah 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 blah," like all this crazy talk. I'm like, what is going on? To people are like, bro, like, I don't want to take my kids to your store. You're talking about inviting people to come over there and fighting them and tasting the blood off your fist. It's like, what? Like, bro,
That's
you're
not a safe
90.
space.
I'm like, bro, I was like, you're 90 pounds, bro. Stop it. But what it is, and you know, I don't have no hatred in my heart. The dude was suffering from alcoholism, and now he's anger issues, and now he's correcting himself, and he's doing good, man. So I'm just but that was how divided it was, because there was people off this conversation wanting to make fake claims to CPS to get my kids taken away because that was part of CG.
Jesus.
And so, that's where,
Yeah, no,
yeah, I'm
that's
just like,
insane.
this is
That's
weird, man. This is really weird.
yeah, and I was
So,
gonna talk about that too, like, aside from everyone being so tribal, uh, it also seems like or the internet is so quick to criticize but then overly sensitive at the
mhm.
same time. It's very strange, like,
Yeah, I've been getting blocked, man. I'm collecting all these Pokemon ass sensitive motherfuckers, man. Hell
it
yeah,
and
you
what do you
know?
think it is? Like, do you think it's that they feel like they could hide behind this internet mask, or like, because like you just said with that guy, like, on the internet he's this person, but then face to face he's like, nah, I wouldn't be that way. And it's like, why are you like that on the
Yeah.
internet if you're not like that in person?
I think everyone's playing a part and they forget they're acting sometimes. And you know what I mean? And
Like wrestling. they're
yeah,
gonna tell you
man,
to
like, you're method acting, bro. Like, stop it, man. You know what I mean? Like,
they work
uh,
themselves into a shoot.
I think uh I think with a lot of people, there's a grift going on. And if you're a threat to the grift, they want to block you.
Mhm.
Because if they can't, a lot of the things I said, they just didn't want to answer. And if more people like it, or more people and I continue to engage, or they continue to engage with me, like, they're not going to want to answer. That's why, like, you notice the games they play, like, uh Masterson, you criticizes July will never talk about him. You know what I mean? July never mention his name or this and that. And July doesn't go after Masterson. He tries to go after Vito. You know what I mean?
Because
And
why,
it's
he's
just,
the easier target or something?
he thinks he is,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know? But
yeah.
I tell you this, man, when Vito's comic drops, it's it's gonna be funny, bro. It's funny. And it's gonna get a lot of great reviews. And I can't wait for that shit show, bro. That's gonna be when Vito has the victory lap of nah, I'm actually a better writer than you. I understand story concept. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be hilarious. But I think they found power in the narrative. They found power in the grift, and once that's challenged and they don't know how to respond, they block. And
Mhm.
that to me, that's like SJW. It's like, man, there's just if they would, I don't know, like when July blocked me, it was because I asked him about the DC or the um, DMCA. Because I literally see this dude going at his own fan, and his fan was like, "Bro, I like you guys. I just said something kind of snarky, and now everyone's dogpiling me." And it was like, "Well,"
Yeah.
and he said this. He said, "Well, you said something snarky. People are gonna act accordingly." I was like, "Does act accordingly mean DMCA?" And then I got the block. So I was like, "You coward." You know what I mean? You're a coward to me,
Yeah.
man. Because you will he'll get the stupidest comments, retweet them and dunk on them. But if someone he don't want to go head to head with Dick. He won't even go head to head with Vito. He won't go head to head, and he's gonna like I even heard him earlier before I got on the show. He's like, I don't involve myself in that gay stuff. And bro, you invented this gay stuff. Like, what are you talking about? You would always bring people on and dunk on them and monetize my hater, and all of a sudden you're like fucking Mother Teresa. Like, what are we doing? So I
Yeah,
just
I know I haven't followed the whole saga really from the beginning, but from what I've gotten together and pieced together, he steps on his own toes a lot, like where he's his own worst enemy, you know?
yeah. I think pride just man. Because here's the thing, man. This is I if he I don't know if he had a good PR or even just a sensible or been actually probably been in conflict before, understand it, how to defuse it, right? On Flashcast, when Dick comes on, he's like, "What's your plot?" or whatever, and he's just or they start talking about notes, right? And then he's like, he could have said it like this. He would have just ended it right there, just like, "Hey, you know what? I saw your notes. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to read it. You know, uh, I saw your notes. I don't agree with a lot of them. I think some of them I could use to improve. But I just want to thank, he could do a PR spin that would be beautiful. I just
Mhm,
want to thank you for reading it. I thank all my customers for reading it. I know they took a chance on me. I'm a new writer, and I'm just trying to do the best I can to entertain people. You know, I'm still growing as a writer. I'm still learning as a writer, and I just want to entertain people because I feel I'm not being entertained by the mainstream. And then you go into the mainstream get grift. You know what I mean? And just get
mhm,
them back on your side, and then. That makes him look like the dude. That makes him look like, bro, why are you picking on this dude? He just said he's a new
mhm.
writer. You got to book how now he wins the crowd over, but he's too dumb. He's dumb. I'm tired of people saying he's smart. He's dumb. He should have done that. That would have been you diffused it, you won it. But now you're like, no, what don't you understand? It's like, bro, and with the thing too, those are just notes. Like he
Yeah,
didn't say it's like this is what Dick did is like this is ways to improve it. This is ways to improve it. This is ways. There's no this. There's no that. It's missing this and that. And You know? So when you try to debate that, okay, now well, show me what it is. Tell me what it is. And you don't know, what did you understand? It's just come on, bro. Like you're dumb, man. Just
yeah, even if he, like you said, just did this, like,
fucking
political
spin
type
it.
answer that he didn't even need to mean, he just could have said it, whatever, bit his tongue
Yeah.
about whatever, but he wanted to
Yeah.
go fist to fist with, Masterson that, is like, "Oh, man, now I'm gonna, like, dissect this, and everyone's
Mhm.
gonna." He's the one
Yeah.
that,
You
was
could have
his
threw him off
own.
the scent. You could have threw him off
Yeah,
the scent,
yeah,
you know? And but it's just that's crazy. Like I mean, that just lets me know you maybe you haven't been around people that had to resolve conflict, or it's just, I don't know, maybe you've had a lot of yes men around you, and you're you know like just there's a lack of personal growth, I think, and maybe
Yeah.
he's young. I was young once, and I was way stupider than him, so you know what I mean. I don't know if I was dumb at that age, but I was probably dumb still, and I probably was dumb at that age. So, it's just weird, man. But yeah, I think if he had smarter people in his corner, kind of guiding him, like, hey, man, this is how you do it. This is how you end it, and you gotta win the crowd. You lost the crowd. The crowd, he had the crowd. The crowd was like, bro, this is the dude. This is the dude. This is the dude. And you know, uh, if he just like, hey, man, hey, thanks for taking the time to read it. Thanks for taking the time to. Oh, you suck. Hey, you know what? I appreciate you for reading it. We got issue 2 coming out. I hope I could still continue to have you as a customer, and just
Mhm.
auto repeat, auto repeat, auto repeat.
Mhm.
And hey, you know what? We got great books coming up. So if you don't like Isom, go ahead and check Chuck Dixon. We got the Soka Sisters. We got Mike Barron. Man, well, there's a lot to be excited for. So, and then the customer's like, hey, all right, he you got to validate some people's opinions, and especially if they're your customers. It's like, because I seen them do the same shit to customers, and it's
Yeah.
you gotta you
Where
gotta you
he
gotta validate them.
Yeah, I've seen where he, like, when people are like, I don't know about this $99 a month thing," and he's like, "Well, if it's not for everyone if you can't," and it's just like, "Bro, that's like you talking to your customer, like, listen to them,
Yeah,
like."
yeah. Yeah, stuff like that, you just gotta really, oh, the $99 is too much, and, just be like, "Hey, uh, well, let me ask you this, what would you like to see in the 99 that would make it worth it?
Mhm,
What would make it worth it for you?" 'Cause people are buying it, and, but if you feel that it could have more value, how could I add more value to it? Let me know. And then that's like, now you got your customer doing your work for you. So you don't have to think
mhm,
of adding value. And then it's like, hey, this is what they said. What do you guys think? Should we add this? Yeah, then we should add it. Cool, let's do it.
yeah, instead of making them feel
So
stupid.
yeah,
You don't
because he's
ever wanna
stupid.
make yeah,
What it is since he's stupid, he has a fear of, like, here's the thing, I think, and this is my theory, I think,
Mhm,
and not just with him, with other people.
mhm,
People that are stupid, they have a fear. They know they're stupid, and they have a fear of being stupid. So when people say something, they're like, "Oh, you question my intelligence, so now I gotta act." And instead of handling it with intelligence, they just double down on the stupidness because they're
yeah,
trying to hide the stupidness. But if they were just like, but it's also like thin skin, because I've had his people, and other people that I guess they don't like what I say, and they take it out of my artist. So I feel sorry for Brian. They're like, "Your fucking art shit." I'm like,
oh
"Hey,
my
man, thanks for
god.
taking the time to look at the campaign. I practice what I preach, man." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
like, "Oh, yeah," and then someone's like, "The drawings look like shit," Okay, I guess you don't like hand drawn stuff, but check out my next comic book. We might, so I might have a little fun with it, but it's I man, this I what actually triggers me, and now I know that it triggers me, so now I'm gonna, like, just not even really respond to it, is when people don't have a campaign and they try to give me advice. "Oh, this is what you should be doing. This is what you should be doing." I was like, what I should be doing is not listening to you. You know what I mean? Because like, like, I was talking to, if someone like a comic book pro, if Nolan's like, "Hey, man, what you should be doing is this." Hey, bro, I'm listening. I'm just, okay. That's what it is. The man knows what he's doing. You know.
Mhm,
Uh, and I'm not following blindly, but I'm definitely gonna listen, and find some truth in it, and
mhm,
adjust it to my character and how I feel with it. Because he can't just say, "Oh, do this," and I'm not cool with that. I'm gonna adjust it to my character, but I'm definitely gonna listen. Uh, and most likely, like, I'm gonna follow it. But someone that doesn't have a product, and I think a lot of these dudes live vicariously, not just through Eric, but through other people. And like, "Oh, you're not like him. You're not like him." And then it's like, bro, you're not them. they're not giving me that advice. You don't have the, you can't do, like, it's not a tag team, man. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I was just like, oh, okay, I think that triggers me, so I'm not, I'm not gonna respond to it no more.
That's like
But
those people on an NBA championship team that were just on the bench the whole time. "I got a
yeah,
ring."
well,
It's like,
nah,
"Yeah,
bro,
but
it's
you
not
didn't
even that.
win."
It's the dude watching at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
On
it's
on
the
his
bad.
sister's TV, like, yo, man, or these dudes, they be watching like UFC, like, oh, he should have ducked, man. He should have.
Yeah.
Oh, he
The
he
the
gave up.
couch
He's like,
coaches.
bro, yeah, you're like, bro, he gave up, or oh, he's soft. He gave up, bro. You ain't never got in there and did it like that, man. Stop it, stop it. But like I said, I feel I had a lot of great teachers throughout life, you know,
Mhm,
and like I can remember two situations where I was humbled and someone like humbled me, and it was good. It was great for my character. I remember I was working at Guitar Center, and my manager, he was friends with Antonio Banderas, and like they were like in a band together, and he recorded Antonio, and they were good friends.
mhm.
And I'm just like stupid. Like I said, I was stupid as well as a kid, bro. So I don't really hold it against people. I'll root for people if people grow and change. But he said, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, you go to his house and all that, and Melanie Griffin's there and all that too. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, man, and I said this out of just being stupid. I said, man, Melanie Griffin hasn't done a movie in a while, man. Her career's dead. And I remember him looking at me and saying, bro, what the fuck have you ever done? Like, and I'm like, good point, man. Good point. Touche, man. But as I'm driving home, I'm like, man, I really need to apologize to him because that's his friend. I'm in there, just arrogantly speaking out of my neck, man. That's not right. I don't want to be that. And I came back, apologized the next day. And then I remember a friend of mine, he's in the music business, and we were driving, and I'm like, man, look at this one hit wonder. And he looked at me, he's like, bro, that one song, let that man travel the world. That man has seen more countries and been more places and still gets paid off that. You know, you can't hate
Mhm,
that, man. You should congratulate that dude. You should try to get to that level to get something, because after he's dead, we're dead, and this and that. That song's gonna still live on and be a moment in
mhm.
pop culture. It might be a bleep, it might just be there, but at least it existed. And I was just like, "Fuck, you're right, man." I got to be creative successes, whether I don't like it or not. And I said creative successes. Yeah, I got to be, give it proper due. So yeah,
No,
that.
yeah, I've
Mhm,
definitely had those discussions with myself where I'm like, I was an idiot when I was young,
mhm,
and, not saying, like, to younger people, but I'll give them a little bit more credit, when it's like, "Oh, you're probably just stupid. You don't know any better."
yeah,
You
ignorant,
know?
man. You just ignorant, but it's I continue to learn, man. Even though I don't make as much mistakes, I still make mistakes too. I still,
Mhm.
but
'Cause
you
we're
know,
human.
yeah, it's learning, growing.
Mhm.
So.
Speaking of, human, and I wanna segue to AI and this whole, I saw a lot of crap about, using assets and
Mhm,
tracing, which I don't know if anyone's really doing whatever. I just kinda, like, watch and
mhm.
read a lot of evidence, but,
If you ain't
what do you
tracing, you ain't trying, bro. Come on. That's what it is. Iron Age. You ain't
what do you
tracing, you ain't trying,
W
motherfucker.
what do you think about that as far as, like, because there's AI art, there's people using it to, different shades of profession,
Mhm.
either really good or really bad. Do you think it's, like, cheating, or is it a good tool asset even in the writing space, like, for narratively, you know?
Yeah. My thing is this, so there's 2 different things going on, like, a lot of these assets, they're used for monthly comics and things that got deadlines, and I could see that, it's just like, "We just gotta get this shit out. We're just tunneling shit," you know what I mean? And that's what it is, and if you spot it, you spot it. If you don't, you don't. And these artists, they don't own the product, you know what I mean? They don't own it. They just wanna get it out, get the next check, and they wanna hit that deadline so they can be deemed dependable, and get the next project. So like artists in the mainstream that aren't really even getting paid that much, like, man, I can't blame them for doing that, especially when it's like they're not gonna own anything and they know there's not gonna be a threshold to where they get royalties off it and this and that. They're just like, I'm just living check to check, day to day. So it's like for that artist, that kind of artist in that situation, I have a little bit more tolerance for, because
Mm.
it's just the setting of the situation. But for crowdfunding, especially like these boutique items, especially when people are paying extra money, they want hand drawn. They want human. They want uh you know what I mean? It's like organic. They're paying
One of a
organic
kind.
prices. Like why you have GMO and organic? Oh, well, we got to get this organic shipping date out, you know what I mean? Like
Artisan. Yeah.
so it's like, no, we want organic. We're paying organic prices. Why are we getting this? So I feel that that could be a disappointment.
Mhm.
Uh, and like with my stuff, Brian, man, unless he's like cutting things out and putting it on the board because he's hand drawing. Like I have what's it called? Let me get it. Let me get my camera. Hold on. Let me pause it. I'll get. I actually have the hand drawn uh
Okay.
cover. So let me put it in the closet
Mhm.
because I don't want I want my kids to color on it, man. It's like original art, man, but, uh, it'll be hard to I got original art, so,
Yeah. No, yeah,
it
that's hand drawn.
I don't see any tracing. I don't see any clip out, you
Mhm.
know? It's just, Brian's just a man from Texas, gunslinger, you know? You give him money, he draws comics, and that's how it goes, man,
Hell
you know?
yeah.
And the man sits there and the money's green, the pages show up in the email, you know what I mean? A little bit more money, pages show up in the mail, and we get it in, man. And so it's you know, I think people they're paying for passion, they're paying to support the artist, and they want to have a certain uh they have a certain expectation with that. There's a certain premium price that they expect with that. That would be like, say you're going to a steakhouse and then you just see them putting it in the microwave. You know what I mean? And just like, okay, now we just put it over here and this and that. It's like, bro, everything you got is in the microwave. I thought, so it'll be, there's an
Mhm.
expectation. I think though in the July situation, hiring art editor is gonna really benefit him. You know, uh, EVS brought up a point. It's like that's why you need these guys that are 20 years in the industry because these artists, bro, they can spot that, you know, real quick, and you got to keep these guys around. You can't just, uh, dismiss what they say, dismiss their critique, and
Mhm.
like, I was on a Tony show with EVS and I was like, hey, man, was the resistance? I asked him, I was like, EVS, I got to ask you, man, was the resistance to criticism still there behind the scenes? And EVS is like, hey, I never, he never asked me. I'm not gonna like. He made it seem like he wouldn't even dare ask July to look at it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, that's like, or maybe I took it like that, but he was like, man, that's not my place to tell him. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking
Mhm.
like, no, it's not your place, and he's right. Like if he's not gonna just offer his opinion, but man, dude, you had EVS, you have all these people behind the scenes that want to see you succeed. Because if you succeed and you guys are networking with each other, then everyone succeeds. So why wouldn't you hand it to him and be like, yo, check this out before you do me a favor? Can I, even like he has the money to pay for a consult. Hey, EVS, I'll throw you, I'm gonna pay you for the cover and I'm gonna pay you extra. Help me out with this. Give me your thoughts on this. And hey, Shane, same thing. I'm gonna give you extra. Give me your thoughts on this. Those are bad motherfuckers.
Mhm.
Art. They're
Mhm.
gonna say, hey, this and this and that, this and that and that. Okay, let me take the notes. Okay, hey, This is kind of what we need. This is more direction. And it's like, what is the correct and what is the quick fix? Because things got to go too. Like
Mhm.
you have access to that, bro, and they're willing to help you. So uh, to an extent, he can't just show every page or this and that, but it's like, man, dude, why wouldn't you take advantage of that? And that goes back to either you're young or you're dumb or you really what it really is he doesn't know how to make comics, I don't think he knew the blessings he had there, and to be honest, what I'm even bringing him up is so other people can learn from it, if and hopefully he can learn from it too. But it's for other people to to learn from it. Like if you have access to people, shoot it out to your peers, shoot it out to this, shoot it out, and get some feedback.
Yeah.
This is gonna make your product stronger. Even if you got someone hating on you, it's like, okay, well, he's saying that, but it's gonna make your product stronger and.
Be open to criticism, whether
Mhm.
it's good or bad, be open
Yeah.
to it. No, that's and do you think and this is just, me asking your opinion, is it that he's young, stupid, or that he believes he's, like, making the best thing he can make possibly, you know?
I think uh I
Like
think he's
he
been successful in
Uh-huh.
uh in other avenues, you know, uh where it's you know in his defense, man, he's been successful in a lot of other areas. So, your last three things you're successful in, and you think you got the Midas touch, you know?
Mhm.
And like, here's the thing, making a comic and building a channel are two different things. If Eric would have talked more about building channels than making comic books, bro, I'm listening. He knows how to build a channel. He knows how to gauge an audience. He knows the right words to use. He knows the algorithms. That dude knows it, and it's proven. Like like if he ever gives YouTube advice, listen. I'm listening. You know, even if he talks about we got to pay this and this and that, and then we got to do this and this and that, and you want to pay for editor, like all day, listen to that man. That man knows what he's talking about. He got like 500,000 subscribers. Uh, and he has a good camera setup. He has this and that. Yo, he could talk about that all day, and man, no one can argue that with him. You know, but that's not comics. And I think just because you know that doesn't mean you know comics. Just because you know a good story or what a good story is doesn't mean you can write one because you don't know the elements and the components and the principles that were put into that project from the gate, from the start to have that outcome, you know?
Mhm.
Like just because you like how fried chicken tastes doesn't mean you know the recipe, you know? Oh yeah, I bred it to do this and this and that, but it's like, okay, but how come your chicken tastes a lot different than KFC's? What is going on? Because I
Yeah.
try to make chicken or barbecue chicken, but when I go to Lucille's and have barbecue chicken there, it's amazing. What am I doing wrong? We're both using fire. We're both using chicken. We're both using barbecue sauce. How come mine tastes like shit? Compared to theirs. The,
Makes
the
he thinks his tastes exactly the same, if not better.
maybe, maybe, maybe. It's like, "Man, I got food poisoning." That's because, that's
That's
because you
your
heard your
fault.
tractor. I heard your
That's your fault.
tractor, you
Yeah.
know?
And
My my son, my husband died from your chicken. Well, he shouldn't have been envious. You know? That's what you get for being envious, you know? Now you gotta be envious with Jesus around you. It's like, I
Okay.
mean, it's just
And then blocks them,
yeah,
and then they get blocked.
my condolences,
Yeah,
blocked.
monetize the haters. We've been seeing, like, the more big budget, like, the campaigns for comic books, even, like, the movies, video games, that being, like, the norm, and it seems like a lot of those are, like, failing more, and then arguably, these, like, indie projects are succeeding, you know, just as much, like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie with the low budget, or
Mhm.
these independent games that are made by one or two people. succeeding, winning awards. Like, do you think the bigger companies are even going to listen to the indies or learn something from these indie companies, or even like your project on how they could be better for their customers? Or they're just going to keep churning out whatever they're churning out.
I think what it is COVID happened, and we were trying to adapt. And now, I mean, I'm a married dude, right? But there's a lot of dudes that ain't married, you know. And so now, dudes is like, yo, do I take this chick out or do I get this comic book? you know, do I do this? Do I do that? Am I gonna do this? I'm gonna do that. I can spend like people like items and stuff and they'll do it. But hey man, I want to go to Buffalo Wild Wings with the boys, like that has a factor because now that's an option where you weren't competing with that as much during COVID, you know. A dude is like, man, dude, I gotta buy my mistress something. I gotta buy this. I gotta buy that. I gotta buy the hotel in another name, and then blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
all that now is in play, and it wasn't in play before. So it's a there's more options. And concerts is like, okay, concerts weren't really a thing, but now they're a thing. Now it's like, hey man, do I save up to see the Stones, or do I buy this comic, or do I do this, or do I do that? And even Vegas is back and up and running, and so I think now people have more options. So the where people were buying comfort items to stay at home with, I think now it's kind of settling back to, okay, I don't need that. That was like a luxury thing. Were we getting free money? Well, actually it's not free. It was out of the taxes. We're like, we got to pay that back. But
Nothing's free.
but that
Yeah.
money, that check came in, and it seemed like it was free, and there was luxury items, and I'm not really going out as much, and I'm trying home cooked food, and I'm watching YouTube and this and that, and now it's like, oh, now I can go to the movies, I could do this, I could do that. The kids are playing baseball, and I got to buy this mitt, I got to do this, so that there's a lot of things in play now that I think the market is kind of like leveling out, to where maybe boutique items aren't the priority. They're not buying the box, they're buying just the comic, you know. They're not buying all the goodies, they're just buying the comic. They're not buying the physical one, they're buying the digital one. Oh, it
Hmm.
doesn't have a digital one. Damn, I don't want to pay for shipping. I'm just gonna go with this guy because he has a digital one. Shoot it, So uh will they listen to the indie guys? Uh you know, it's that's at the corporate level where it's like, because I ask people, I have people that still like work in Hollywood and retired from Hollywood that I talk to, and I'm like, what is going on over there? And they're just like, uh, you got a lot of young execs, and they're trying to do what's good for the time,
Hmm.
and they joke and they say they're not doing cocaine like they used to, and just coming up with wild ideas, and and it's a dirty business, So
Hmm.
so I was just like, yo, why isn't an exec taking, time to do this and do that? And, you also hear too that people, it's hard to get funding for like movies and stuff because people aren't just going to the theaters like they used to, you know? And if they are, they're going to see the 3D IMAX Marvel movie. They're not going to see yours, but they're going to see that, So it's, and then I think too, like, the binging TV shows has
Hmm.
became a thing where that like man, that's a lot of money in itself. It's like, it's like, hey, do we put out a movie or do we put out like 5 movies with this, 12 episode season? So it's like a lot of stuff is in play, and there I don't know. I know people think there's like a secret agenda and stuff, and to some it seems that way, but people have always failed up in Hollywood. People have always got failed in they continue to make movies and continue to get another shot, and so it's it's just It's just more. I think with social media, we hear more of it because everyone's just so active. It's just so instant. It's just so
Mhm.
crazy. Like even Grand Theft Auto 6, they put out the trailer a day early because
It
they got bullied and
leaked.
pressured into it. You know, it leaked. It's like, you know what, F it. You know, they're not getting it. We're getting it. What? You know, they got all these lawyers at work to try to take it down. They just throw it out. You know, screw that.
Mhm.
Let us take it. You know, and then, now they look like the heroes. Like, oh, they shot it early. That was cool. You know, a surprise. Great move. That was a great move. Whether people like it, they don't like it. It was still a great marketing strategy. You know, to release that. I feel. You know.
It was the right move instead of the latter, like you're saying, that
Yeah, then you're the
came
bad
out.
guy. So
Yeah,
it's like, nah,
no.
come to the uncut, get it uncut, get it from us, and then now you have everyone. Oh yeah, no, that don't worry about that. We got the real one, and now they want to comment it and this and that, and you know,
Mhm.
great, you know.
Official.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
and and I'm just asking a couple more questions, I know we got, pretty late. It's getting late at nah,
Mm,
what was I gonna say? What would be your advice? I know we talked about a lot about, the advice you would give like your younger self or advice you'd
mhm,
give other. What would you give just ultimately to a creator of any kind, whether it's like uh comics, art, just being a creative, to what would you give them the advice to motivate them, in this world now where it seems to be like quantity over quality and, speed
mm.
over taking the time?
Uh, for storytellers, I would recommend two books. Uh, Story by Robert McKee
Mhm.
and Save the Cat. Read those. Like, it's funny because people are like, "Oh, Save the Cat, yeah, oh, okay, what movies did he do? What, Shoot Mama from the Train? Or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?" Like, he did that, you know, but
Dang, that's a
within that,
classic.
he has a formula. He has the formula that, you know, Hollywood's looking for, but it's also gives you the thing with story structure. And then Robert McKee is just that dude's old G, bro. Like, you listen to that, that's like, man, that's like corporate dudes listening to 40 Laws of Power, you know? So he's like, it's just like, you know, some of the stuff he says is like, you know, hey, there's no rules to writing, there's only principles. Like, you have total freedom, write whatever you want, but these are principles that work, that have been known to work. So you would be wise to use as many principles as you can, but if it doesn't enhance your story, then and then he also says like characters aren't real people. They're not real people. Don't write them as real people. Characters, like, you know, in a way they're like instruments that you use to enhance your story, you know. And
Mhm.
you learn stuff like that. You're like uh even you know, I went to film school for a little bit and they were just like time is money, you know? If a character is saying something, make it worth it because that
Mhm.
you're like I think you know, that kind of changed my perspective, you know? It's time's money. So if this character's saying something, we got to hire a person to hold the mic. We got to hire a person to do the lighting, to build the set, this and that. Make it worth it. Hollywood has the money, but make it worth it to do it. And so I kind of adapted that too. It's like I got to make every page worth it because I'm paying for it. And if Brian's gonna sit down and draw it, at least it's worth it. Cause yo, artists gotta sit down, their back hurts, their hand hurts, their cramp. Oh, you know what? Too bad, get it done, right? And they gotta suck it up and do it. So I have a lot of respect. So with that respect towards him and towards the crap, it has to be worth something, right? So with that said, is knowing your craft and start small. You start small, right? And uh it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. But I would advise you to tell yourself that this isn't the finished product. You're not your finished product. Learn, 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 right? And so here's the thing I say: start small, develop relationship with the artist. Because here's the thing: you want to start small and you want to get guys that finish product. So it's like, hey, 8 pager, I got it. Let's do it. Okay, cool. Okay, you finished the 8 page, 20 pager, I got it. Cool. All right, now I want to do a 40 pager, right? But if you start with the 40 pager and this guy never done a 40 pager, he's just done pinups and a couple of sequentials, you know, trying to get a job at DC. And those are the only sequentials he's done are the ones that he was just trying to get jobs and he hasn't touched sequential since then. He'll probably, 40 pages, 10 pages in, "Hey, man, shit, I had to get a second job. I can't do this no more." What do you mean
Hmm.
you can't do this no more? So that relationship and that trust is very important, And people are like, "Yeah, well, don't pay him for the pages and this and that." Yeah, but if I paid him for 10 pages and he turned them in, or I didn't pay for those, I still got 10 pages that I really can't use because then I get another artist and I get another direction, or maybe I go with a different project. I'm out of money,
Hmm.
and you can't do that. Like, and I'm saying that from experience. I got like I want to say 20 pages, 24 pages that I can't use, that I paid for, that are fully
Hmm.
inked. And I look at them and I keep them. I look at them because it's the fucking lesson I learned. And so that's what I would say. Start small, or if you're gonna work with an artist, make sure that he's completed a project before and he completed it on time. Network, network, network. And just make sure you complete it on time before investing your money. And hey, I'll pay you at this contract, and offer a bonus when they finish, because that's always cool. And that, it's a little incentive for them to come through and deliver.
Yeah, and it makes them yeah, like you said, it makes them feel better about their work, that they're appreciated, and that it builds that relationship
Hmm.
with them, and that's always good to network in this
Yeah,
world.
and no, you're gonna suck. You're gonna suck. You write your first thing, you're gonna suck. It's okay. Write and get better. Write and get better. Sharpen, sharpen, sharpen. Over, over. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Oh, I think it's perfect. But you suck. So do it again. And you run that, and you discipline yourself, but it's like, maybe it isn't mentally healthy, but I be your toughest critic. Shit on yourself all the time. Cause then
Mhm.
when you get that feedback, then you're like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm way meaner to myself than people have ever told me on my," you know? Like, even with Vince, I'm like, "Hey, alright, Vince, go ahead. Let me have it. What is it?" He's like, "Nah, man, it's you gotta just sharpen up here, this and that, maybe change this line around." "No, no, no, let me have it." You know? And I'm just like, "Oh, alright." Vince would just be nice. I'm just gonna fucking sharpen this up by myself. He's like, "Oh, yeah, that improved. That worked. Alright, cool." But like, oh, and also too, get an editor that enhances your story and doesn't try to tell their story. When you see a editor like, "Oh, no, you got let's do this or do that." No, no, no. Like, every editor, and I've been blessed to have good editors, they always wanna enhance my story and get more clarity to the reader. And that was and I'm grateful for them, so
No, it's
yeah.
always good to find talent that share your vision, and then, like you said, help enhance it rather than try to just change it, morph it, make it their own. So
Proofread, 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 give it to other people, and, have them talk about any spelling corrections that you need to make, and
that's always good to
yeah. I
to
suck at
do
spelling,
that.
bro. I suck at spelling,
We all
you
do
know?
now with autocorrect.
Yeah.
The world has
I'm
spoiled us
horrible,
with
bro. I'm
technology.
horrible. Yeah.
Lastly, I want to ask you, and I don't know. Again, I'm saying I don't know comics. I really don't. I'm not good at drawing. I'm an okay writer, but I'm not good at drawing.
Mhm.
What would you say is, comics? Seems
To an
it.
extent, man,
Yeah.
there's guys out here, and that's a oh, okay. Let me give one more advice. Thank you, and
Hmm.
thank you for bringing it up, because this is a
Hmm.
valuable one. If you don't know comics, and I know some comics, get around people that do. Like, Vince is a fucking guru with comics. You can play comic book trivia. I got my money on Vince. And there's guys out there that are like that too. He's not the only one like that, but you know, get someone that does. Get a circle of people that are very knowledgeable in it. They can guide you to good books, to bad books, to books that were good but just didn't last the test of time. Get around those people. They're so valuable. They're so valuable. So I'm sorry. So I just had to
No,
get
no,
that out there.
no. Don't be
You
sorry.
know.
No, that kind of goes to my final question here. What do you think, as far as comics, is like the benchmark? Like, is there a comic out there you think did everything right, and is like nothing needs to be changed on it? It did everything right, art, writing, everything. Do you think there's one out there, or a series, a author like?
I think the best number one issue, and I hope you go out and buy this on either Kindle, Comixology, or whatever. I don't even think I think it's actually free for Why the Last Man. For me, Why the Last Man, and there's probably other ones out there too. Why the Last Man issue one, I think is just freaking flawless, bro. That's just damn, you know, like that dude sets it up. That dude, you know the world, you know what you're getting into, and then you don't know what you're getting into but you know what you understand everything in the story.
Mhm.
It's like the story starter pack. Okay, you know who the main characters are. You know what's happening in the world now. I just remember reading that and just like as a going out there and trying to read different comics and enjoying different comics. I remember reading that and just like, but chef kiss this bro.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't I can't say nothing. That's
like, I wanna make something like that. That's basically I
and it's
wish I could
original,
make
bro.
something.
It's
Yeah.
original, and I don't know. Like me and Jimmy were talking about this last night. I remember seeing the trailer for it, but I don't know what it actually came out to be. But that issue for me was just like here, this is what it is. Then I
Mhm.
think Watchmen too. Watchmen number one is another one. But for me, my favorite I believe is Why the Last Man. That was great, man. Greatness. Yeah.
Cool. No, awesome. I wanna thank you, Richard Embree, for your time today.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to check out Blood and the Sword. They could find it on fundmycomic.com, correct?
Yeah. We're on the top. We're number one.
Man,
you
jeez.
know? I mean, no, I'm just saying. Yeah, I think it's because the backers, a lot of backers, but that goes to what I was talking about. The price point is it encourages multiple backers, so we're
Well, yeah, it's part of your strategy, your marketing. It's working, obviously.
yeah.
Like it's a smart move, and
I'm trying,
it,
man. I'm trying.
it,
I'm trying,
it
man.
yeah, no, but anything else you want to plug and say or
Alpha Core. I want to encourage people to go buy Alpha Core and nah, nah, man. There's so many great creators that I meet. Definitely go and buy Jimmy Reyes' stuff, man. Dragon Rage. He was showing pages on there. Man, oh man, that's just man. Like I don't know how you can not be a fan of Jimmy Reyes, and have eyeballs. You know what I mean? I don't know how can you not be a fan of Jimmy Reyes and have vision, and then you hear the all the obstacles Jimmy has overcame, and that dude's a champion in my heart. Then you want to go out and uh, back Super Killer Vito. That book's funny. That book's real funny. You want to go back. Last Man has Road Warrior Drake. That man, it's a lot of pages. And he's drawing it himself, and just the humor. He's a funny dude, so it's gonna translate into some funny stuff. Shotgun Samurai by Quaff. That's amazing book. There's a lot. There's so much great stuff out there. Andy Smith's the Korok, or I always say it wrong, but his newest book is, I believe, is actually shipping. It probably is in demand right now. Anything by Graham Nolan, pick one. Of course, EVS is Cyberfrog is just freaking phenomenal. Anything by Malin's always his stuff's always violent and people love it. Yeah, man. B.A. Turner, if you want to get his stuff, I want to say, man, I know it's Creed something. Damn it, it's just on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, his book is. I'm looking forward to reading that. I purchased it, looking forward to reading that. A lot of great stuff. Like, go on my channel on Forrest Publishing on Facebook. I mean Facebook. Well, I'm on Facebook too, but on
Mhm.
YouTube, and just the people I talk to, interview, man, all good people. Uh, and just buy from there, man. Just they show the art, they talk about the project, and buy from there, man. Is or just follow on Twitter. I try to repost a lot of stuff that I see that's amazing, and you know, uh, just go check out their pages. And if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, there's ice cream of every flavor
Yeah,
there. That's
yeah,
the great thing about, I don't know, any form of, media creativity, you know?
hmm
There's always something for someone, and,
definitely.
you everyone can like something doesn't mean you have to hate the opposite of whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you
But
don't like it, it doesn't mean you're envious. Maybe it just didn't resonate with you. It
yeah,
just
it's that simple.
happens.
Everyone has their own taste. Someone
Yeah,
likes chocolate, that doesn't mean they hate vanilla. Jesus.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, man, thank you so much, Richard. I want to tell
yeah. No
everyone
worries,
to
man.
check out fundmycomic.com for Blood and the Sword. Great deal, $5 for a
hmm
comic. I mean, what do great deal. It's a
Yeah,
great deal.
$5, $5 for the digital, $5 for the physical. Uh, if you wanted to get the shirt and comic, that's $25 plus shipping. And then retailers, I want to take care of my retailers for 12 comics, only $20 plus shipping. So shipping in the US will be $10, so $30. If you're in the US, get you 12 comics. You can put it on the shelf and actually make a profit.
Man,
So
see
that's
it,
that's where we're at, man.
that's a bold strategy, but hey, it's gonna work. How
Yeah.
can it not? It's already working, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I
No,
got
but
product to sell at the end of the day, man.
that's great. Well, I hope nothing but success for Blood and Sword.
Cool. Thank you,
Sounds like
thank you.
it's already a success, so that's great. Can't wait to, read the whole thing, and, yeah, no, I wanna thank, you for being here today, and thank everyone for listening. Everyone take care.
Cool.
Bye.
All right.